Welcome. My name is Shane O'Donnell, and I want to talk to you today about the whole journey of entrepreneurship. It's a journey of transformation. You have an idea of what you want in your life, what you want to achieve. There's a desire within you seeking expression in the world, and that's fine. But once you get clarity of that, that's great. But then there's always the paradigm which is causing the resistance within you. That's your current operating system that hasn't got a clue how to get to where you want to go. And that's the issue that most people have, is that journey of transformation from where they are to where they want to go. And it's never a straight line. It always has different pathways to get to where you want to go. And this is what I want to talk to you today about, is the whole idea of operating from a place of non-resistance and the importance of it, because the resistance that is created within us as an entrepreneur, it's not the strategy that you're going to implement on Facebook or marketing strategy or sales strategy or whatever it is. That's separate. What we're talking about today is the most important starting point, which is at the center of who you are. It's the core of your character. It is your state of being, your mindset. Most people have done a bit of mindset work, but I can tell you from experience that, I study this material for hours every day, and I have for many, many years. I started this journey in 2005 because I lost a business in Sydney in 2005, and I had to recover. I was 35 years old, and I didn't have a clue. I didn't have any qualifications. We didn't own a home, and it was a journey to get to where I am now. And what I'm suggesting is, don't take my journey, because I delayed in a lot of ways, because the personal development space has advanced. It is much better today getting into personal development and being able to understand how to reprogram the limiting ideas that are holding you where you are. It is much easier to do today because there are programs that will help you get there quicker. I delayed, and we got to a place where we're financially independent now. All our debts are paid, but I could have got there quicker if I had been in the space to listen, if I'd been less resistant, if I'd been non-resistant. So what I want to talk to you about is the power of being an entrepreneur. It is an amazing place to be. It's different from being a business owner. A business owner has a system that they operate and that they manage, and they manage their staff and their suppliers and so on, and they get a profit and they manage their business. An entrepreneur, a business owner, can have an entrepreneurial spirit where they are always innovating, always finding ways to improve their position, and they're very creative. It is a creative space. And the important thing I want to express today is that it is a journey. The entrepreneurship journey is not really meant to be traveled on your own. It is better traveled with people that are like-minded, because the more you are able to get yourself into the creative state, the quicker you get results that you want. And I'm here to lift your spirit. Entrepreneurship it can be lonely, and it can seem like God or life or the universe or infinite intelligence is conspiring against you. That's how it can seem for a lot of the time. But I want to tell you that God of your understanding, infinite intelligence, loves you and is conspiring for you. And I love you because I love entrepreneurs. I think they are potentially the savior for any country on the planet, because they are the people that are bold enough to step out and have the conviction to go after what it is they believe is important, which is an idea that they need to bring into the world. And that takes a process. Once you understand the process, and once you are able to alleviate yourself of the resistance within you, then things become quicker, easier. And interestingly, once you understand how the process works, and it is a process, it works by law, and the whole of this universe the first law is order. The universe, God, has order. And once you understand how the order works, once you understand it and are able to apply within you, within your fabric of who you are, the laws of the universe, just like we have law of gravity, we have laws that govern everything in the creative realm. We are creative beings. Our mind, our brain, is a goal-seeking organism. And once we get these ideas, things become a lot easier. So just be, I just want to remind you that your future is certain if you trust in the process. If you're able to have, as Napoleon Hill wrote a whole chapter about it in his incredible selling book, Think and Grow Rich. In the second chapter, he talks about faith. And there's a reason for that, because infinite intelligence is conspiring with you to expand forever and to and through you. So when you're able to recognize that all the boundaries of constraint that seem to be causing the resistance are within you, it has nothing to do with anyone else. It all is within you. The solutions to every challenge that you have are already in you. And I used to get really frustrated when Bob Proctor, who was my mentor, used to say that, because I used to say, well, I'm really thinking about this problem as much as I can, and I'm trying to solve it. And therein lay the problem, is that I didn't have the right tools at that time, until I eventually took money from my pocket and I invested in the first 12-month program with Bob Proctor. And then things started to change, because then I got order in my mind. I had a scaffolding that everything started to change. I used to respond to things that happen in business all the time differently, but also I started to notice more opportunity, and things became a lot easier. So hold on to this and follow this program through. I'm not going to talk for long. I've got a very short message today, and just remember that the universe, infinite intelligence, is conspiring to deliver whatever you've been asking for. And so you have to just learn to convince yourself to trust the process and believe that what you have within you is possible. There's only these fixed ideas that you inherited in your journey through life that are stalling your progress at the moment, because your goal, your desire, is outside what you understand is possible right now. So that's all that the gap is. And getting to where you want to go is never a straight line. It is never how you expect it to be. This is another interesting idea, is that most people are trying to get a new result, using the understanding they already have. And that's probably the biggest lesson I learned, is that I was trying to create change in my life as a business owner. When I lost everything, we bought another business, and my wife and I worked hard, because that's what I understood, was this working hard concept. And we forced things to work, and they did, but it was wearing us out, and it eventually did wear us out. Eventually, we sold that business, and for a healthy chunk of money, and it was worth what we did. But there is an easier way, and if I'd known what I know now, I would have done things a lot differently. And we might not have ever sold that business, actually, because we burnt ourselves out. So, we have to accept that at the core of us, there are some principles that work if we like it or not. And one of them is that what we think about, we bring about. We create our reality. It is our thoughts and the quality of our thoughts that are producing the results that we're getting right now. And what's interesting is, it's not necessarily the conscious thoughts that you have. It's the fixed ideas set in your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind, that behind a curtain for your conscious mind has no access to it other than giving it new ideas, but your operating system operates automatically. So most of you understand that when we started to learn to drive a manual car, it was awkward. And then eventually, with repetition and practice over and over, it becomes automatic. So now most people who have been driving for years, they can do things without consciously being aware of it. They can be listening to music, thinking about where they're going, and changing gears, putting on an indicator, and it all is automatic. Now, your success in life, the way you run business and the way that you accumulate or repel finances in your life, the way that you utilize time and the joy that you get out of a day, how you view a day, perceive a day, is all set within your subconscious mind. And we call this the paradigm. That's why I call the show The Paradigm Shift, because I want to give you tools that will enable you to shift your paradigm, which is happening all the time anyway, because we have an emotion called the surprise motion. And surprise is one of the 7 major emotions that we have. And there's very little science behind it, but the science that they have found is that it actually is an incredible shifter of your perception of life, of your interpretation of life, because when you get a surprise, it works. There's 3 things that happen. There's a trigger, a surprise, there's a spark all of a sudden. And say you're driving down a road, there's one example of someone sitting in traffic, the traffic's come to a standstill. All of a sudden, to your right, a car lifts up, takes off, and flies over the stalled cars, lands on the road ahead, and drives off. All of a sudden, what happens is that all your conscious awareness, your attention that's looking at this and thinking about the traffic jam, is brought to bear on that car that you've never known that cars could fly. And you're now trying to figure out, your mind goes immediately to start making new decisions about what cars can do. And you come to a new conclusion when it lands and drives off that cars can fly. Now you can't go backwards. So now you've got this new decision that's in your conscious mind. And what happens now, you don't stop thinking about that, and you hold that thought for a while. And what happens then is that your confirmation bias starts to find evidence to prove that cars can fly. That's how you form a new belief in your subconscious mind. That's the power of surprise. It works whether you want to believe it or not. It is happening. The scientists have started to study this process, and they're coming up with some really good results that you can use it to your advantage. So I want to talk to you about that today, because when you understand how powerful your mind is, most business owners forget. They might have done some mindset work, and they know that it's important, but they underestimate the absolute how central it is to their decision-making process on a daily basis, is giving them the results, good and bad, right now. So if you want to lift your game, if you have this question that you keep asking, how do I rise to my full potential as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, then here's some ideas that I want to suggest you think about. Resistance causes delay in your progress. Resistance in a mechanical machine is what causes the wear and tear on the machine. When you understand that it's resistance that's slowing you down, then the question is, what do you mean? Well, I want to give you some idea about that. There is a formula that I work to that is biblical, that has been around. It's pretty much in every self-help book, that desire what you want plus non-resistant belief equals desired outcome. So the gap between what you want and where you are right now is the only challenge, because usually what people want is way outside of what they believe is possible right now. So what has to happen that's why it's a journey of transformation, is that you have to figure out, have I got the will and have I got the ability to keep growing my awareness of what's possible, growing my understanding of what I can believe is possible. And if you have that, that is basically you are increasing or expanding your paradigm. And eventually what happens is that it expands enough that it absolutely just incorporates that goal, because you have to grow to the person that is able to bring their goal into their reality. That's how the process is. Not that complicated. It's about growing your awareness of what's possible. And the question you just have to ask yourself is, are you willing to do that? And are you able? Well, if you were able, then you would have probably been there already. And not many people study this type of material, but Bob Proctor studied it for 60 years. He taught this material for 60 years and he never really changed. There's not much he changed from, if I listen to his original recordings in the 60s to just before he passed, there's not much different. So what we're talking about today is non-resistance. And if you think about it, at any moment in time, you are in either one or the other state of being. What do I mean? Well, it's how you feel. You either feel good or you don't feel good. You either have activated your sympathetic nervous system, you're in fight, flight, you've got eyes that are this wide, and you're trying to solve the next problem. You're focused on the problem, and you're consumed by the problem in your business. And you are working as hard as you can. You're spending enormous amounts of energy and time on your business, and you wake up every day and you still have the problem. I know, because I've been there. I've lived it with staff, with threats from customers, and all kinds of things. You name it. Everyone who's been in business, you know what it's like when you start getting the emails, the phone calls that set you off. Okay, so there's two ways of looking at approaching life at any moment of time, because all we really have is this moment of time right now. This moment, you're deciding what you're going to bring into your life later on today, tomorrow, the next week, and so on. So we're either spending our time facing reality, looking at the results, and dealing with them in a reactive state. Over and over and over. Face reality using our physical senses. And as Bob said, well, what's the difference between that way of approaching life or a pig and a horse? They also have the senses and they can just react to the situations. The other way of approaching life, which is what really the entrepreneur becomes really good at if they become a successful entrepreneur, is creating their reality. So you're either observing reality, and often that's with a victim mentality where you give your agency, your creative ability over to someone else. It's their fault, it's the government's fault, it's the main roads' fault, it's Telstra's fault. You know, it's like if you use those words, then you are giving your agency over to those people. And here's the reality, if you think about it, they don't care. Everyone is getting up every day and trying to do the best they can in their life. And very few people are thinking about you. That's just what it is. Everyone spends a lot of time thinking about themselves and what they haven't got and who's causing the problem in their life. And so they're blaming, they're complaining, and that creates nothing. It gives you more pain. So that puts you into a resistant state of mind. It keeps you stuck where you are. If you decide to develop your creative side, if you're an entrepreneur, I'd recommend it. What happens is you learn to down-regulate your sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight, flight, freeze mode, and you are able to move into a calm, relaxed mode. You can look it up in Google, you know, the difference between parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. They're very important to understand. We need both of them. But when, as a creator, if you are in fight-flight mode, you are cutting off your biggest resource, which is your connection to infinite, to the God of your understanding, to the universe, where there is an infinite number of ideas waiting for you to access. The universe, God, cannot expand in this world without your input, without you accepting or recognizing the idea that's already here and implementing it through inspired action. It doesn't happen. Everything that we create as humans first starts with a quality thought. Where do you think the idea of flight came from? The idea of being able to fly, actually all the components that we needed to fly have always been with man and woman, mankind, I mean. But it took an idea that was accepted, that was actually criticized. And in fact, if you read about the Wright brothers, their father condemned them. He was an Orthodox pastor or whatever, and he said they're going to burn in hell. So they had a lot of resistance they had to overcome, but they had this burning desire, and they saw something that no one else could see. And that really, most entrepreneurs have that ability. So that's why it's important to keep coming back to material like this, where it's going to encourage you that is part of the process, is actually recognizing the resistance and learning to let go. Okay, so how do I make non-resistant decisions on a daily basis? Well, as I said, there's two states of being. You're either connected to your resourceful growth state, where you're calm and relaxed and you can feel good. And when you get into that state, the ideas start to flow. There's a flow of fresh ideas coming to you, and those ideas are really important. I would write them down, because when you write them down, you're taking them out of your mind, out of your brain, and you're putting it on paper. You're bringing it into this world, and it frees up space for new ideas to come. But out of those ideas, you might put hundreds of ideas, and one of them could change everything for you. And so it's a really important practice. Okay, so two states of being. When you don't feel good, then you're in a disconnected state of being. You're in fight and flight. Remember, your mind is a goal-seeking mechanism. So whatever idea that you hold in your mind, you will achieve. That's how we're designed, okay? So why is it that we always feel this frustration that we know so much? We do. As we get older, we consciously, we are becoming more and more knowledgeable on ideas, but we're not getting the results that we want. Well, because that is what the paradigm, your operating system, is the cause of that. And when you understand that that is the cause, your operating system is giving you your results. The results is the effect. So cause and effect, it's a natural law. Emerson said it was the greatest law out of the 7 main laws, natural laws of success. Then surely the most important job that any entrepreneur can do is invest time, effort, and I would suggest money in getting the right education to understand how you can perpetually, always, repeatedly keep growing your conscious awareness of what's possible through mechanisms that exercise the muscles in your mind. So we've got 6 mental faculties that, when exercised, will give you better results. When you understand how to shift your paradigm, you will get better results. So I want to give you one idea about in fact, I'm going to give you two ideas today. In terms of setting yourself up on a daily basis, then we are running with some business owners a 90-day challenge where we encourage these entrepreneurs to make it happen of starting their day with a daily practice of gratitude and appreciation, where you take a pen and you write down 10 things that you're grateful for, 10 things that you appreciate in your life, or things that are coming. And be very specific. Write it down. If you appreciate something about your partner, what is it that you appreciate about your partner? Because you'll make that important in your mind. And if you do it repeatedly for 90 days, it'll become a habit thought that that's how you see your partner. And it will improve your relationship with your partner. With your business, you can ask, you can appreciate the process that you're going through, that you understand that it's a process of knowing what you don't want, the resistance, the challenge that you have to face, then focusing on what you do want. And you can simply say that you're very grateful that you're on the path of becoming incredibly wealthy. You're on the path of delivering massive value for people in the world. You're on the path of. So you're making that point that you're on this journey and you're on the right path, and you're always on the right path, because you might be stalled at this moment, but when you understand this material that I'm talking about today, you're able to shift. Okay. So the second thing that when you're doing that process of the daily gratitude, then I would suggest that you send love to 3 people that cause or you feel resentful to. Resentment is a massive, it causes massive resistance within your being, and it will separate you from your connectedness to your source of inspiration, your source of ideas. All you want is to connect with getting your ideas as quickly as possible. Resentment will keep you separate. So you want to get into a non-resistance place. Let go of the resentment you have for people by sending them love. Just send them love, and imagine that you're sending it to them. And it is incredible as you start to release those parts of your mind, of your being, that you start to free up this creative energy within you. You start to prepare yourself to receive, and instead of repelling when you've got that resentment. Then just spend 5, 10, 15 minutes, just quieten your mind and ask for ideas. Ask to receive the idea that's going to transform your business. And it might take a while. It's not a one-off thing. It's a process of becoming. So as you let go of resentment, as you let go of resistance, so you get in closer alignment with who you really are. At our core, Bob always used to say that our spiritual DNA is perfect. And then when we come into the world, we pick up all these ideas, beliefs, and habits and routines and self-image that keeps us separate from that perfection. And that's why everyone's life is a journey. And if you're watching this and you've got to this point in this video, I commend you, because obviously something within you is compelling you to hear these last few words that I'm saying. So the last thing I want to give you is a very simple way of quickly changing a limiting sort of process that you might be going through. So one of Bob Proctor's good friends came up with an idea of just producing a simple card, like playing cards. And the question that he asks is, what card are you going to play? So on the one side, he's written here the situation, and on the back of the card is the solution. We can only be focused on one thing at a time, and the energy that you put in and you feel about and you get connected to with the situation is absolutely nowhere near the energy that you create when you're focused on the solutions. 2 different energies. So if you're focused on the situation, you're going to keep reminding yourself and keep bringing that situation into your experience. The minute you start looking at the solution, it gives a different energy. It lifts you up, and the ideas start to flow. So all I suggest you do is that if you just get white cards like this, and you write at the top what your goal is. And if it's a financial goal, just write that, I'm very happily grateful that I am earning this, this, and this. That might not be what you're earning right now. It's what you're going to earn in the future, but you just make the assumption that it's a done deal. That's how the universe works. This is how this infinite intelligence works. And the whole fabric of the universe is connected to this idea that is conspiring to get you to where you want to go. Because for most entrepreneurs, what they want to create is good. It's going to serve other people. So write your goal at the top and then write down the situation. Then flip the card and focus on the solution. At the top of the solution card, write down your goal and then just focus on that. That's a really easy way to get quick results. Change the direction of your thinking to a higher frequency, to sending a different signal out to others around you, to yourself, and to the universe. So I hope that helps. This is an ongoing project. I love what I do here, and so I'll be back again next week, and we keep working through the whole process of how do you get from where you are to where you want to go. If you have any questions, please send me a note on whatever channel that you're listening to this. If you like what I'm saying, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And if you think this message can serve someone, please share it with them. Really appreciate that. As I said, from the universe, from God, of your understanding, you are loved and that your work is important. And when you're feeling despondent, just keep coming back to this channel and listening to this, because I hope to inspire you with the reality is that everything is going to work out exactly as you want it, not necessarily how you want it or how to get there, if you just trust in the process. So bless you, and I'll speak to you next week.